Hey everybody, this is Patriots Worldwide. Welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm going to talk about our upcoming matchup versus our division rival and familiar foe, the Miami Dolphins. I will be talking about our loss, very frustrating loss to the Los Angeles Rams, and I will also glance over our victory versus the Chicago Bears as I did not recap that in the last episode. Without further ado, let's begin, and I will start by talking about our victory over the Chicago Bears. The obvious takeaway from our Windy City victory was the fact that our defense tallied up 9 sacks, which is a record for the season, and also just a really refreshing sight to have seen given how lackluster this defense has played. But unfortunately, there is a huge asterisk behind it as the Bears did not have a solid offensive line, hence why we were able to rack up 9 sacks. However, Drake May once again looked really good and really just put the team on his back again with a great performance. Rookie Jalen Polk caught a touchdown. We had the rookie-to-rookie connection. So I also learned that Jalen Polk is just the Jameis Winston of wide receivers, as he can either only catch touchdowns or drop basic passes. But you know what? A win's a win. Drake May's first official win as a starter, as he's seen the field from the start to the end of the game, whereas his first victory came against the New York Jets. He did not finish the game due to a concussion protocol. But at the end of the day, we won. I will take it. 3-8 as we unfortunately lost to the Los Angeles Rams the following week, and I will jump into that right now. Coming into this Rams game, there really wasn't much to expect. I had this feeling that we were going to get our doors kicked in, and obviously I wasn't alone in that factor. The ironic thing was I predicted Matthew Stafford's touchdown stat line. Before the game, I was talking to my pals, and I said, wouldn't it be funny if Matthew Stafford throws 4 touchdowns against us, as he's been struggling all year off and on, and given our defense is really just non-existent at times? It was an outlandish prediction, but you know what? It happened. He scored 4 touchdowns, or rather, he threw 4 touchdowns against us. DeMarcus Covington made a very questionable decision by putting Christian Gonzalez primarily on Demarcus Robinson, who is a wide receiver 3, compared to Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, who are the wide receiver 1 and 2, respectively. But at the same time, there's a lot of asterisks and a lot of technicalities to look at. We primarily put Marcus Jones on Kupp because of his speed and Marcus's ability to get his hands in between the catch and break up the pass. And we put John Jones, a.k.a. Burnt Toast, because he cannot keep up with the receivers anymore. We put him on Kupp because they like to advertise the speed that he has, and speed that, I mind you, is non-existent, really hasn't been in a couple of years. But he did a solid job in the end. Drake did look good, had an interception, really just at the end of the game. It ruined our momentum. We lost the game because of it, due to a miscommunication. But as I say every week, at this point, winning comes second, and I think the biggest priority and the biggest takeaway is this team remains healthy, and Drake May continues to look good and show promise that he is our future signal caller and the future face of the franchise. And even though he's only played 6 games, I would like to confidently say that even though I'm not fully committing to him or buying into him, that he has at least proven himself to be our next franchise guy, and we don't need to worry about the quarterback position for a little while. With a little backtracking, I do want to touch on DeMarcus Covington. We've seen him call plays for the past 10 games, and it'll be the 11th game this upcoming Sunday versus the Miami Dolphins. And he's really made a lot of questionable alignments and overall just really decisions that I can't get behind. And I think the biggest one stems against the Rams this past week, where we put Christian Gonzalez, who was our star cornerback and arguably our best defensive player, on the Rams' third receiver in the lineup, Demarcus Robinson. I get the height is there because Gonzalez is a closer matchup when it comes to height, but you gotta put your best corner on the opposing team's best receiver. Either if it's Kupp or Nacua, Gonzalez would have shut him down efficiently if he was on him the entire game or the majority of it. And the thing with DeMarcus Covington, I try to give him a pass as much as this is hard to say as a Patriots fan, this defense really lacks a lot of talent except given the few minute players of Christian Barmore, Keon White, Gonzo, Duggar, Peppers. You can give Duggar an asterisk, but anyways, I really just don't understand the play calling. Like, why would you continuously call zone coverage when it hasn't been working for you? Like, oh, we've called it in the past 10 games, so they won't expect us to call it this week, right? Like, that's truly the logic I get from that, and that's what I imagine the meeting rooms to be like. Either you just got to start switching things up, or you have to start taking this seriously because your job could potentially be on the line. Firing him would not be ideal, as he is smart and he has a lot of inside knowledge because he learned from Bill Belichick and a lot of great coaches. My thing would be just consider demoting him back to the defensive line coach, as when he was the defensive line coach, the D line was at its best. I don't know. It's a tough call, but we just got to bear with them, bear with this team the next few weeks, and hopefully Covington makes a change, or at least wakes up, looks in the mirror, and sees what he's doing wrong with his play calling, and then he'll figure it out. But I trust he will figure it out, and if not, we just got to do what's best for the team and move on. And speaking of the defensive line, Christian Barmore made his regular season debut, coming off of the injured list after being placed there in August. Back in August, before preseason began, Christian Barmore was diagnosed with blood clots in the legs. And truthfully, I did not expect him to play this season, as did a lot of people. However, Barmore did not get the memo, and he's proven to be a warrior and just a very overall strong player and person. There was a strong possibility he may have never been able to walk again, let alone play football, but the guy, like I said, is just a warrior. He's earned this monster contract, and he wants to earn every penny of it, and truthfully, he deserves even more. The guy is a hero and an inspiration, and being back on this field, even with a limited snap count, shows how tough and resilient he is. When he's back at full strength, he's going to make every opposing offense fear us, and they would even be afraid to look in his general direction. Welcome back, Christian Barmore, and thank you for being strong and being an inspiration for all of us. Welcome back, Big 90. Before I get into the Miami game, I just want to talk about Alex Van Pelt. For a long time, I have defended him in saying that he does not deserve all this hate and criticism for his bland play calling, and yes, it is bland and very predictable, but I've always said that he does not have the talent to work with, excluding Drake May, of course, but when you have one talented quarterback and really just above average receivers at best and just an inconsistent offensive line, you can't really blame the offensive coordinator necessarily. However, a lot of that changed when I found out he did not know that cornerback Marcus Jones would occasionally play on offense, as it was reported that Jones texted Van Pelt earlier in the offseason, just letting him know he does play offense and would like to work on the offensive side of the ball. If that is true, and unfortunately I think it is, I'm just coping here, it just shows that Van Pelt did not watch a lot of film. At least that's what I got from that, but at the same time, my statement on him not having a lot of talent to work with unfortunately reigns true, and we got to give him a couple more years before we start firing him, because I hate beating a dead horse with a stick here, but when you look at Mac, that's what exactly happened to him. We had a system that seemed to work well with him, with Josh McDaniels. We replaced him with Matt Patricia. I just cringe every time I even think of that name. And then we replaced Matt Patricia with Bill O'Brien. It was just not good for a quarterback. No quarterback deserves to have multiple coordinators in each year. The fact that you're on a 4-year contract and 3 of those 4 years you have a different coach and coordinator, it's crazy. So hopefully we don't do that with Drake, because AVP sees Drake's potential and talent. The guy's smart and he knows how to call offensive plays. We just need to get him the players to do it correctly and execute properly. And yeah, it is very boring, very bland, basic, whichever word you want to throw in there, plain. It is frustrating to watch. And even if I was just a casual fan, just turning the TV on, seeing these play calls over and over, it would too become very predictable, boring, bland. But AVP is smart. He knows Drake's weaknesses, strengths, and he knows how to work them and really make Drake the better quarterback that he is destined to be. Truthfully, we just got to give AVP another offseason to potentially get the talent he deserves to work with. And by that time, I truly believe he will turn it around and really expand that playbook and open up plays that he has not called this year, because we really lack the talent to do it. Just got to be patient with him, ride out his contract, and by that point, if he still hasn't improved by a couple of years, then we talk about moving on. But we can't just keep swapping out coordinators, because how are you going to get better if you keep swapping out players and coaches and talent if it doesn't work the first time? We just got to be patient and ride it out. Not every road is smooth. Every road has bumps and potholes, but the destination is usually always worth it. So we just got to have that mindset when it comes to coaches and players on this team. Anyways, on to Miami. In Miami, our track record is not good. We struggle, and we seem to just not be ourselves, and especially this year, given how we play, I would not like to be ourselves. Miami, however, has struggled a lot, both with the quarterback situation and overall just as a team. But just watching the Patriots all year, this is going to be the game where Tyreek Hill finally wakes up and dominates. I just have that gnawing feeling in the back of my mind that he's going to wake up, put like 200 yards on us. Tua's going to look elite. We're just going to look lost again. But you know what? I've been saying this all year. Where there is delusion, there is hope. And I believe in my heart we can walk out of the stadium with a victory. I don't know how we'll do it, but it's possible because this whole season has been backwards. We've been beating teams that should put 50 on us, and meanwhile, we've been losing to teams that we should beat by like 25. So either way, whether we win or lose, all that matters to me is that everybody stays healthy, Drake May looks good, and we just play a very tight competitive game. If we do find a way to win, it'll be a very low scoring game. I predict it to be something along the lines of 20-17, 21-24, something like that. But if we lose, however, it's probably going to be like a double-digit loss, 31-20, 31-17. And it'll probably come down to a last-minute drive if it's something like 23-31, and it'll be ending in a costly turnover or a miscommunication by a quarterback and receiver. Mostly on the receiver, though, because the quarterback can do no wrong, especially ours. He can do no wrong, and he's never the bad guy. He's never at fault. It's not his fault. So we'll see what happens Sunday. The three things that I'm really dying to see, and I believe a lot of us are as well, we need to see a Christian Gonzalez pick six. I will gladly take an interception, but for Christian Gonzalez to score a touchdown, it'll be special, as if you remember back in 2019, Stephon Gilmore scored his first pick six in Miami against the Dolphins. It was a throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was tipped by Devin McCourty. I can't remember who the intended target was. We got to see another Drake May to Kendrick Bourne connection because the meme is right there in itself, Drake to Kendrick, if you know, you know. And we got to see a Christian Barmore sack, really just to cement himself that he's back. And unfortunately for the Dolphins side, I expect former Patriot tight end Jonnu Smith to have a great game, or even just a mediocre game, more than he ever did in his 3.5 years here. I'm still on that jury that we didn't use him correctly, but that's neither here nor there. It's in the past. And speaking of Kendrick Bourne, although I've been very critical on him, and I do not take back my belief that he's just a generic receiver, and even though I think we should depart with him in the offseason, regardless, it was so exciting to see him back in the end zone after missing a calendar year of football. As a fan of the game and as fans of the game, we love to see it. That was great, and truthfully, I do hope he gets in the end zone more often this year just to make up for the touchdowns he missed last year. Regardless of what we do with him in the offseason, we don't have to worry about that for a few more months. And all we could do is just enjoy the ride and make the most of our current situation. This game will be a tough one. Facing a division rival is always difficult, especially on the road, and in a stadium where we don't perform our best. It's going to be very difficult to walk out of Hard Rock Stadium with a victory. As I stated, I don't think we're going to win, but as a fan, I want us to, and truthfully, you never know. Any given Sunday is always a thing, especially with the Patriots and the NFL this year as a whole. It's been so unpredictable that the Patriots could pull off the upset and really shock everybody. As always, I must stay committed to the segment. The keys to victory on defense go as followed. DeMarcus Covington needs to not only expand his playbook and find plays that start with the words man coverage, he also needs to incorporate his best defensive player in Christian Gonzalez by putting him on Miami's best receiver, which would be Tyreek Hill. Gonzalez's speed and hands could easily contest with Tyreek's speed and really just make it a very feisty matchup between the two. You need to put Marcus Jones and or Kyle Duggar on Jalen Waddle, blanketing the two receivers, giving Tua a very difficult time to find an open target, leaving Jonnu Smith open to have a legacy game against his former team, as all former Patriots seem to do nowadays. On offense, Alex Van Pelt has just got to draw up quick plays for Drake May, as his offensive line has been surprisingly holding up, better than a lot of people expected. I was in the middle thinking they were going to be both good and bad simultaneously, which they proved me wrong and right at the same time. But back to AVP, just give Drake May the time to find Kayshon Boutte, as his speed and hands are a deadly combo, and the two are building a rapid chemistry that is working and is working great for this team. And I believe Kayshon Boutte has rose up the ranks to be our wide receiver 2 for the future. If the two can just connect continuously in Miami, easy win. Easy win. And speaking of wins, we released Tyquan Thornton. We did it. The season has been officially declared a victory. We got rid of Bailey Zappi and Tyquan Thornton in a matter of months. It's a miracle, guys. We did it. And no matter what happens, the 2024 season will go down as a victory. Getting off topic here, but the keys to victory are as simple. Christian Gonzalez, man coverage against Tyreek Hill. Drake May, Keishawn Butte. Just got to get it done on offense. We can do this. I apologize for going off the rails back there. This team just drives me crazy sometimes, and a lot of times, from my perspective, I am not a coach, nor do I have the knowledge of how to coach, but just seeing it from my couch, it just looks so obvious of what they need to do to fix things and make it better. But you know what? That's what fans do. We get way too invested and involved because we love this team. Thank you all so much for listening. I've gone over everything I wanted to say, and I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I talked a lot. That's what I do. That's what I love doing. Thank you all so much for listening. I look forward to doing this again after the Miami Dolphins game, and it would be nice to be reporting a victory. Either way, I can't wait to talk about the game. And a little side note, in honor of Veterans Day this past November 11th, to all of our troops, both past and present, thank you for your service and what you do for this country. Without you, our country would not be where it is today. God bless our troops. Thank you guys so much for listening, and go Pats. Let's go get this one.
Go Pats!